Thank you for joining us. This is the pre-trip webinar for your Cyprus LiveAway, happening March 6th to 20th, 2026. We are doing this a little bit early. Normally, we aim for about 30 days in advance. But as I am off with a group of your fellow members to Oman on, day after tomorrow, I'm heading over there. So I had to get all the webinars out of the way. So we're a little bit ahead of schedule, which means you might not have gotten all the documentation because, again, 30 days is when we do the webinar. It's our deadline for getting all of your documents to you, transfer vouchers, and so on and so forth. So if you think you're missing something, you might be missing something, and it will be sent. Almost everything I'm going to talk about today is covered in writing somewhere, but we send you a lot of information. So I know that our members like to watch the webinar and talk to me instead of reading through all the stuff. But I do encourage you to read through it anyway, because there's some important info in there. I'm going to introduce your host, Joseph, who should be joining us, but, not sure where he is. Then I will be, Joe and I will be talking a little bit about what you need to know to prepare for your trip in terms of packing, in terms of money, and all that good stuff. We're going to touch on your arrival into Larnaca Airport and what's going to happen there. And then I'll go through a little bit of the itinerary, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing day by day because you already, Joe E. I'm here. Okay, Joe's here. He's somehow in the wrong place, but that doesn't matter. We're going to get him in the right place. Okay, Joe, I'm promoting you, and you're going to appear just below me, and you're going to turn your video on and then your speaker and all that stuff, and we'll get you going. So Joe's going to join us in just a second. There he is. And as I say, I'm not going to cover the itinerary in great detail, but I'll just point out a few things that you can anticipate on this trip. And then, of course, I'm going to answer any questions that you might have. So if you do have questions, please type them into the chat box or into the Q&A box, which is at either the top or the bottom of your screen, depending on what browser you're using and what version of Zoom and all the rest of that fun stuff. So without further ado, and I think it's perfect timing because Joe is about to appear on the screen. There he is. There he is, your host of the Cyprus LiveAway 2026, Joseph Ennis, a veteran host for us in the meantime, who's hosted numerous trips. It was recently in Southeast Asia, traveling all around these amazing countries. Joe, why don't you say a few words and then we'll carry on with the rest of our agenda.
Great. Yeah, my history is a bit, just about 50 years in the hospitality industry. So I started when I was 2. As of 2017, I started hosting trips. I worked for a few different companies, but found Wheel and Anchor, and this is my home. My role is to ensure that you have the most amazing adventure, and the best part is I get that amazing adventure with you. So I look forward to seeing you all in Bogota, and some guests that I've traveled with this year. So I look forward to seeing you all again.
You're on the wrong webinar. This is the trip to Cyprus. You're going to Bogota next.
Sorry. I knew that.
Gotcha. All right. Joe is a pretty organized guy, folks, I'll tell you. So, but he is going to Colombia, next week or tomorrow? You're going to Colombia imminently.
I'm going on the 4th, but I've been on all day with different things with Colombia. Sorry.
There you go. Joe has also got a sense of humor. He does know where he's going. I assure you of that.
I always get flustered for some reason. We don't get connected, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
It's all good. It's all good. We're glad you're here. Everything's good. Joe, if you've not traveled with us before, and I'm just looking at the list of names, I think most of you have. I recognize pretty much all the names on the list, but I'll say it anyway. Joe is your host. So as he said, he's there for your well-being. He's there to make sure that all the logistics go smoothly. He's there to liaise with the local guides. He's there to make sure everything happens as I intend it to happen, and of course the rest of my team. Lorelai's a first-timer. Yay, first-timer. Welcome to Wheel and Anchor. We have a good sense of humor, and we have hosts who usually know where they're going, and sometimes they're on time, but that's hit and miss. Anyway, sorry, I'm a joker. It's late at night for me. I've been going since 8 a.m. this morning, and it's now 11 p.m. So anyway, carrying on. So Joe is your host and logistics and making sure you have fun and making sure you connect with the other members. So be open to all of that. Joe is not the guide. So we have a number of guides in Cyprus. Among them, one of my favorites, Michael Nepotolomos. I can't even pronounce his name, but he goes by Nemo. You'll love him. He is such an amazing human being. And so he's going to be one of your guides among other great ones that we have. And he's going to show you all the great parts. So if you ask Joe and you visit those ruins over there, how old those ruins are, he's going to look at you and say, I don't have a clue. He says, I know where the pub is and I know what time, the cocktail hour starts. But so Joe is again, kidding aside, the person who works on our behalf at Wheel and Anchor to make sure you get everything that you came for. So let's cut the joking aside and get into the serious part. What do you need to prepare for this trip? I'm getting punchy. It's Friday night at 11 p.m. The first of all, you need to have your passport. So I imagine most of you who've traveled recently, you'll know where it is. And if you don't, you better start looking for it now, so you've got time to find it before you head off to Cyprus. It should be valid for up for at least 6 months beyond the date that you enter into Cyprus. Of course, you don't need a tourist visa to Cyprus. It is part of the EU. I do suggest strongly that you make a copy of your passport, either a physical copy, like a photocopy, or I keep a copy on my phone. It's just in case you should need it, and you probably won't need it. But if you're exchanging cash or if you're buying a SIM card, which you're not because we're giving you one, but for any reason you need to show ID, then a digital version will suffice 99% of the time. So yeah, your passport. Apart from that, you don't need anything. Now, arriving into Europe nowadays does require, it doesn't require anything in advance. So all of their electronic systems that they've been talking about since COVID are still not in effect. But since the fall, they are collecting biometric data. They call it the EES. There's so many acronyms, it makes my head go spinning. The entry exit system, I believe. So all it means is they're going to probably fingerprint you like they do when you go to the US, like they do when you go to a whole bunch of other countries. And so it means ultimately they won't stamp your passport anymore because they're going to know when you came and they're going to know when you left. And you're allowed to stay up to 90 days every 6 months. And that's the rules for Europe. And that's all we need to know about that. So I'm going to, Joe, defer to you to talk a little bit about packing and what are the type of things that one should bring for a trip to Cyprus.
Absolutely. So packing smart is key, is what we always say, especially for LiveAway trips where you really want to be comfortable, and that's what matters most. Luckily, in March, Cyprus enjoys quite mild spring weather. Daytime temperatures can be in the mid-teens to the high teens, and a great day can be in the low 20s. Evenings a bit cooler. So as far as clothing, layers are essential. So light sweater, light jacket, maybe a rain jacket for cool mornings and evenings where it's cooler again. But you want to be comfortable during the daytime, for sure. Comfortable walking shoes are critical. We do recommend 2 pairs so you can rotate them out. We're going to experience different surfaces like cobblestone and a lot of the ruins and that kind of thing. We'll have uneven roads, and I think 2 pairs. I always bring 2 pairs, and then another pair we'll get into for water. Day pack is very useful. So something like sunscreen, a hat, light waterproof jacket or umbrella. Reusable water bottle is excellent. Please plan for manageable luggage. Some hotels or smaller properties, they may have some stairs or limited access to elevators. Dress for our welcome and farewell dinners are usually smart casual, but typically the trips overall are very casual. Optional items to bring that hopefully that we have to use is swimwear, water shoes, compact quick dry. If you enjoy spontaneous beach seaside moments like I do, I will jump into any body of water no matter what, just to say that I was in it. So yeah, that's quite essential. Shall I carry on with the currency, Gord?
Yeah, hang on. I just want to. I think I just want to make a couple points. First of all, both properties that we have in Cyprus do have elevators. So both the place in Larnaca, the little condo hotel, it's so charming. I was at the place when it was first built, and they were literally dusting out the sawdust from making it. It's a charming place. Our members really enjoy it, and it's a short walk to everything in Larnaca. And similarly in Paphos, the hotel, the Anemi, also a charming place with a whole new wing since I was last there, but they've got elevators as well. So not to worry about that. But I think the important thing is the weather is unpredictable in the sense that the very first time we ran this liveaway in Cyprus, we showed up at this time. It was actually a little bit earlier. I think it was in mid to late February, and it was the coldest winter they'd had in years. So it got down to 12 degrees, and we were freezing because nobody expected it. And my friends, I have friends that live in Cyprus. They all left because it was so cold. It wasn't that bad, but it was not. It was unusually cool. So I don't anticipate that. Certainly not in March. The weather is likely to be in the high teens, but yeah, if it's a bit cooler, Mother Nature is doing funny things these days. Similarly, on that very same trip, by the time we got to Paphos at the end, it was 25 degrees. So people had
Wow.
gone out and bought jackets and stuff, which then ended up getting to sometimes actually given away because that was a weird one. But weather is unpredictable. I will say the water is cool still. The Mediterranean, probably 15, 16, maybe 17 if you're lucky by mid-March. Um, I like to swim in it at that temperature. Joe likes to swim in it in that temperature. He
Yeah.
jumps in the Atlantic all the time. You may or may not wish to. When you go to the Blue Grotto, the waters around Cyprus are so beautiful. So I encourage you to at least take a dip, particularly on the Blue Grotto trip, because it's going to look so inviting, even though when you put your toe in, it's going to feel a little chilly. And so, the water shoes is great. It's in Paphos, and in Larnaca, it's sand beaches. But yeah, when you don't know what's in them, I think the water shoes, I think, are a good idea. So I just wanted to just color in what you said a little bit, Joe. And yeah, for sure. Let's talk a little bit about money, which is easy because it's the euro.
Yes, very easy. So, yeah, being the euro, credit cards, of course, and debit cards are widely used. It's always helpful to carry some cash for small purchases in cafes and that kind of thing. We as a company use Wise Card. We strongly recommend it. It is basically like a debit and credit card. It's Canadian currency. You can load it up. So it's not like you get a credit check. You just load it up with Canadian currency. And you can convert it to over 40 different currencies. It is super easy to interface with your phone for your mobile phone so that you can see exactly what your balance is in Canadian dollars on any given time. Other currencies currencies you convert to. I don't convert to other currencies anymore. I just keep it as Canadian, and you
So
can
do
see
I.
it's easier. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just much easier. Yeah, you can tap it and swipe it just like any other credit card, debit card. I think you can withdraw up to $300 Canadian without any banking fees at all. Other than those, the ATM machine charges that are unavoidable. Like I think most of our banks in Canada charge $5 to $7. It is a great way to manage travel budget because I can always see what's left in my travel account. It's super easy. The best thing about it at all is, most of all, is the exchange rates they're impossible to beat. They are the very best. I don't know any other card or system with better exchange rates. Certainly much better than any Canadian bank will offer. So details on how to get one are in the trip specific reference guide. You can get a digital card almost instantly. And if you want to order a physical card, it takes 3 to 4 weeks. So there's plenty of time before our trip to get a physical card. And I think if you investigate it, you'll see that it's really worthwhile.
The moment I leave Canada, I have my Wise card. I don't use anything else. It's just anyway, it's so versatile. So um, it's a great thing to use. Um, I'll just put in my 2 cents about gratuities for this trip. The gratuities for all of the services that you would ordinarily have to sort of reach into your pocket for on a tour are covered by us. You've already prepaid them; they're part of the price. So that means the drivers, the guides, to the extent necessary, the servers in hotels. Those ones are all taken care of by Joe, or by us. In some cases, they've been prepaid. So the only thing that you need to worry about in terms of gratuities are those when you're on your own. So when you arrive in the airport transfer, for example, if you want to give a guy a couple bucks, that's great. Or the housekeeping, or when you're out for dinner. And when you're out for dinner in in Cyprus, it is pretty much like the rest of Europe in the sense that, tips aren't mandatory. Generally, people round up to about 10% of the bill. Um, Places in Cyprus do charge service charge in some places that's added to the bill. It's getting more and more prevalent, particularly in Europe. They're copying our tipping culture, but luckily not to the same degree. So do keep an eye out for that. And yeah, that's I think that's everything you need to know about gratuities. Joe is going to explain to you about Telegram, but first I'm going to talk to you about your mobile phone and what you need to do. Bringing a mobile phone is now mandatory. So, uh, because it makes life so much easier, not just for you, but also for Joe, quite honestly. So,
Mhm.
uh, it's what I've been saying about this of late, and most of you are travelers. You wouldn't leave you wouldn't. Well, I don't leave my front door without my phone, but there's so much technology that you can avail yourself of these days that makes travel so much easier. Um, so the way to use your phone is you can either just take your phone with the plan from Canada and you can pay the Roam Like Home fee, which is like $17 a day, depending on your provider. I understand that some providers now are starting to offer packages around the world that are actually a little more reasonable and not as ludicrous as they've been for the last number of years. But I don't know the details on that. I am somebody that leaves their Canadian SIM card at home or in Canada when I leave, and I use a physical SIM card from either the destination or an eSIM card. So, because it's the liveaway, we're giving you a physical SIM card, and it'll be provided to you when you arrive into the destination. So that means there's no point to leave your card in from home. You're just going to be paying through the nose for it. The only reason that you would want to do that is, of course, because the only drawback to this whole scheme is the fact that in Canada, a lot of people still use text messaging. So you send a message to somebody's phone number. Just the pro tip is that most of the rest of the world has moved on from text messaging. They don't do that stuff anymore. They're using apps like WhatsApp or Telegram or Messenger or one of the million ones that are out there. The texting is tied to your phone number, which is tied to your SIM card. So when you take the SIM card out from home, no more texting. So hence, assuming you're going to avail yourself of the SIM card we will provide you with when you arrive in Cyprus, you might want to let the people back home that you would normally text know, hey, you're not going to be able to reach me for the next few weeks because I'm on. Please email me. Please send me a WhatsApp. Please send me a Telegram, whatever the case may be. So Joe will hand those out from our local partners who help procure them for us, and we'll stick it in your phone, and then you will give you yours back, and you won't lose it because if you do, it's going to be a pain in the neck when you get home, and you're off to the races. You could also get an eSIM, but we can't provide that for you. So we can only provide the physical SIM. It's already bought. It's going to be there waiting for you. We can't do the eSIM because it's too complicated. One day, I hope to be able to provide everybody with eSIMs, but that day has not yet arrived. So the main reason that we need it, apart from all the other technology apps for traveling, is because of Telegram, and Joe's going to tell you all about that.
Yes, and just a reminder too, some of the newer phones do not take physical SIM cards. So you might need to
That's
make
true.
sure that your phone actually takes them. Otherwise, you will need to get an eSIM. And I can help you with that if necessary, but best to do it before you go. Make sure you do or can take a SIM card. So our form of communication is Telegram. We choose Telegram because it's not widely used. A lot of people use WhatsApp or Messenger, that kind of thing. So we use Telegram so that it's special to the trips. It's best to install it before we depart and send me a quick message so I know you're connected. It'll be used for group updates, daily reminders, and any last minute changes. And it's also a great way for members to connect with one another before the trip. It's also great for safety for sure. And again, you can just delete it when you get home. You don't have to keep it, but it's what we use. And I recommend every single person, husband and wives, every individual be connected to us because it's very important in lots of different events. Getting lost, for example, which we hope never happens. But yeah, so please download Telegram and connect with me.
Yeah, exactly. And to that end, we do strongly recommend that if you're traveling with your partner, you should both bring your phone, and we'll give you both SIM cards. And I, realize I can tell you the number of times we've heard, oh, but I always, go with my spouse. We are never separated. And it just seems like in the last 6 months, we've had spouses that have been on our trips, and sure enough, they've gotten separated. And one of them, the one without the phone, has gotten lost. And I laugh, but in the moment, it's not always that much fun. And so if you both bring a phone, then it just brings the whole stress level down for everybody. So please do bring phones, and we will set you all up. Couple of tips about health protocols. I'll make them quick. They're mostly um, self-explanatory. First of all, if you feel unwell at any time during the trip, if you have, if you're sneezing or coughing or any kind of symptoms like that, please wear a mask. That is standard protocol these days. Because let's face it, it's winter in Canada. There's all kinds of bugs going around, and it's just not a neighborly thing to do to pass those on to your neighbors. So we are undertaking a lot of activities together in the minibuses that we'll have, and dining together and having lots of fun. And so the best way to have fun is wearing a mask if you're having any symptoms. The second thing would be if you should injure yourself at any time. And, listen, I'm one of those people as well. Oh, it's nothing. I just stubbed my toe and it's turning black and blue, but it's fine. Um, if you do any kind of minor damage to yourself, please let Joseph know. And you and he can look at this kind of objectively. Well, and kind of say, well, I think you should have that looked at. We tend to err on the side of caution with these things because, you know, uh, I'll be perfectly honest. We have had incidences before where people said, "Oh, it's nothing, and it'll be fine, and it's just a little red," and then it's like, "Oh, they got back home 3 weeks later, and there was three broken bones in that finger." That's not a pleasant experience. So we don't want to take any chances. So please let us know, and hopefully it will be nothing, and it's probably nothing. Last but not least, we are non-smoking. So if you are somebody that enjoys a cigarette now and then, just not in the company of your fellow Wheel and Anchor members. So um, fast forward a month from now, a little over a month from now, you're going to be ready to fly over. Do check your phone for updates from the airline in the 24 hours before. Sometimes we get all excited about leaving, and then we forget to look at our emails and our phone. And then all of a sudden we'll see a message from the airline going, "Oh, sorry, your incoming flight from New York was canceled because of a snowstorm," and blah, 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 and whatever the case may be. And then you have to, rebook and all the fun stuff that is associated with that. The point is, if you're not going to arrive on the flight that you are scheduled to arrive on, then please let Joe know it's the moment that you find out. And Joe is the person to be in touch with. Don't bother contacting our office. There's not much at that point. The day before the trip starts, everything gets passed over to Joseph, and he is the person who's responsible for your well being. And he's the one who you should contact to arrange that your transfer driver comes at the right time to pick you up. So that's really, really important.
And again, Gordon, another
Once
reason
you,
to have again,
yeah,
sorry, Gordon, another reason to have Telegram loaded before you leave is so that you can contact me through Telegram in those situations once you're in the country. It's very important to have it.
once you land on the ground, and that's you won't have the SIM card by then, admittedly, but you can just log into the airport
Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, and their airport Wi-Fi is. As to my recollection from the last time I was there, should work just fine. And so when you then arrive, you will pass through immigration. You'll actually pass through immigration at your connecting airport when you're flying to Europe. So if you fly via Frankfurt to get to Larnaca, it'll be in Frankfurt. You go through immigration, and then when you arrive in Larnaca, you just pick up your bags and go through customs, and you're good to go. Your transfer driver will be waiting for you in the arrival hall with a sign with your name or with the Wheel and Anchor name and logo. So just remember to look for both. There could be a lot of people there. Cyprus is a pretty touristy island, although less so in the wintertime. But still, if you don't see the person right away, or let's give yourself 10 minutes to find them, then please drop a note to Joe, reason for having Telegram, and
Yeah.
he will make sure that he connects you with the driver, and that are settled and make your way to the airport. And then the live away will begin. You are, of course, starting off. I'll just give you the overview. If you haven't looked at the map recently, just a reminder where Cyprus is. So it's in the Eastern Mediterranean over here. All these wonderful countries like Syria and Israel and Palestine. No, I'm sorry. Well, they are. They are all right there. But Cyprus is a little enclave. And it's quite a unique island. You're going to be landing at the Larnaca International Airport and staying in the city of Larnaca, which is more like a big town than a city. The principal cities of Cyprus are Limassol, that's sort of the commercial capital of the island, and Nicosia. So you're going to spend your first week in Larnaca, and this is where we're going to do a couple of excursions to North Cyprus. So North Cyprus is not part of the Republic of Cyprus in the south, and you're going to get the whole history from the folks over there. It is occupied territory, depending on who you ask. But if you ask the guys in the south, that's occupied territory. The Turks came back in the 70s and took over. Well, took over. The, anyway, I'm not going to get into the history and the politics. It's a fascinating story, but you'll find out all about it. But there is a border of sorts between Republic of Cyprus and Northern Cyprus. And so you will be passing border checkpoints, and you'll have your passport checked, and it's pretty straightforward. I don't think it will be stamped, but it might be. Anyway, it's very interesting. You'll find as soon as, and Nicosia is, I think, the only divided capital city in the world. So the border runs right through the middle of it, and there's a little pedestrian street, and you'll walk down, and next thing you know, it's like boom, show your passport, leave the Republic of Cyprus, enter the what do they call it? They call it the Turkish. They have a long name for it, but Northern Cyprus, and then you're good to go. And you're going to visit Famagusta, which has a big ghost town as part of it. It's in Kyrenia, beautiful city in the northern shore of Cyprus. Amazing. So this is sort of the North Cyprus cultural whatever sort of side of the island. Although there's I think a food tour that's over here. The second week that you're there, you're going to be in Paphos, this is kind of the beach capital of the island. And you're going to be doing excursions into the Troodos Mountains and Kikos Monastery, which is beautiful monastery set up in the hills. You're going to head up to the Akamas Peninsula and the Blue Grotto, which is over here. And you're going to see as well the temples at Kurion, Aphrodite's Rock, and all this stuff. And also hang out and enjoy the beach and all the little restaurants along. Paphos is quite a lovely town. So that's the overview, if you will. And I'll just touch on a couple of the things that you're going to see while you're there. So this is a little bit of an aerial view of Larnaca. The landscape here is semi-arid. So you have, these dried out. In the wintertime, there's a little bit more rain than the rest of the year, with sort of these green hills, vineyards, perfect for growing grapes. And as I say, Larnaca is a pretty compact town that you can walk easily around from your hotel. Nicosia, as I mentioned, and this is an interesting shot because you see the minarets here. This is obviously the northern part of Nicosia. But if you were to look at an aerial view, other than the minarets, you wouldn't know that the city is divided in half. And these are the mountains that head up that you pass over to get to Kyrenia. Famagusta, this is the old church that used to be in Famagusta. You can see the arch over here that was destroyed and never rebuilt. In some cases, they turned them into mosques because, of course, northern Cyprus is Islamic. The temples of Kurion, look at the view that you get from there. Mind you, the one day that I was there was pouring rain, but that won't happen to you. You're going to have a day like this and looking out down the coastline. And there's a lot of amazing history in Cyprus. Again, there's what I like about a place like this is because we know so little about it, there's so much to learn and there's so much fascinating history here. The Blue Lagoon cruise, as I mentioned, is a highlight. That's up on the northwestern coast at the Akamas Peninsula. You can see the folks swimming in there. The water is as clear as a bell and beautiful blue, and it'll be a little bit chilly. I just hope that you have a nice day so you can take a dip. And of course, the archaeological ruins of Paphos, which spread over a huge area and are not far from the hotel as well. You'll get a tour, hopefully, probably by Nemo. He's very informative, but it's a whole peninsula that you can walk around, views of the sea. It's all very, very beautiful. This, I think, is an optional excursion you can take up to the Avacas Gorge. I didn't make it up here, but it's quite a lovely place to hike. And I know we have some hikers in the group, Bruce and Cindy, among others. And so yeah, you're going to be there. When we first did the live-away in Cyprus, we were there for a month. We were 2 weeks at the time in Limassol and 2 weeks in Paphos. And yeah, I almost wonder that we should have stuck to the 4 weeks, but people were asking for 2 week live-aways, so that's why we did it that way. You're going to have a great time, and you can always go back if you enjoy it. This is a good way to get to know it. So, time to address any questions that you might have. Um, I see. Okay, Bruce and City mentioned the Famagusta excursion didn't have enough takers to go ahead as a group. Okay, my apologies. I should have known that. And my marketing person probably forgot to take the slide out. Can I recommend a provider? I cannot off the top of my head, but Joseph, would you make a note? There are definitely people that will take you up there. And so I will make a note. Joseph will make a note. One of us will get back to you with a suggestion. Yeah, I don't have the answer off the top of my head, but we'll do our best to see if we can. And I would recommend as well, have a look online yourself, because our provider is only doing groups with minibuses, so they can't do it. Um, so yeah, we'll have to do a little bit of digging and see what we can find. But it is worth heading up that way. So thanks for asking the question. Is that the only question we're going to get? Wow. Joe, we've done a great job.
Can I just
Everybody's.
add something? I just want to add something in,
You sure
Jordan.
can. Hmm.
Yeah, luggage name tag reminder. Just please have a
Yes.
name tag on your luggage. You don't need your home address. You can have an emergency phone number or an email address for privacy, but please have a tag on your bag. It's great for the hotels. It's great if luggage gets lost. It just serves us so much better if you do have one.
Yeah. The luggage tag is important. And one other thing that you said that reminded me of something else. I am going to send some water bottles, Wheel and Anchor water bottles to Cyprus. Some of you may already have them, but I'm going to send you a new one anyway. Cross my fingers that it arrives there. Shouldn't be a problem. It's inside the EU. So there will be water bottles waiting for you when you're there. So leave them at home, and then it's a nice little souvenir, and they keep things cold and warm. So I'm glad we mentioned that. See, I got some more questions coming in. We've opened the come on, questions. Here we go. Is Joe connected to the group on Telegram yet? You don't see him in the channel. Joe, are you in the channel?
Yes, I am. I'm on both.
Do you
I've
want to
already
just
got a
send?
couple of
Yeah,
guests.
great. Do you want to just send a note out and say, "Hey, I'm here," just to make sure that people know
I'll definitely do that. So far, I've
that
only got two
you are in
guests.
fact.
I only have two guests so far that have joined me. So yes, I
Okay.
will. Yeah.
So this is the best time to sign up for Telegram. Would be now. Or shortly after this webinar, so that you're set up, and drop Joe a note. Will you type your handle into the chat box so that yeah. Exactly, Joe, or I can do it for you, or you
That's
got
okay.
it. So Joe's going to put his handle in the chat box. It is on the documents we sent you, or will send you if you don't have them yet. In the trip specific reference guide is where you'll find his Telegram username. How many guests? You have 11 on your trip. So you got a nice small group. It's actually a perfect size for Cyprus, because you'll be able to do, and that's perhaps why, Bruce, the Famagusta trip didn't go ahead, because if not, everybody signed up for it. So but who knows? You may be able to talk to some of your fellow members when you get there as well, and say, "Hey, if you get along, a bunch of people want to go. I'm sure you'll be able to sort something out." So Joe just put his handle in his username in the webinar chat box at Traveler Joe NB. That means New Brunswick, I assume, where Joe hails from, and yeah, you're good to go. So sign up for Telegram. Drop him a note. Thank you for the questions. And if you think of anything else between now and the trip, You have multiple options. We're here to help. We want to make sure your questions get answered. You can send an email to Melody. She is our main after sales support person whose job is it, among other things, to make sure that you have everything you need and that you get your questions answered. But you're also welcome to message Joe. He's going with you, and he's extremely resourceful at finding things to do and how to get here and how to get there and where the best wine is. So Joe will be undoubtedly taking care of that for you. So you've got a number of people that can help you out. In the meantime, stay warm. Not easy these days, at least in central Canada. I don't know what it's like out in the East Coast, Joe, but
Minus
also pretty
35 tomorrow, we're expecting.
excellent. 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 I'm 60 degrees ahead of you here and very happy about that fact. So, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Cyprus, can't wait. Have a great time. Have a great winter between now and then. I look forward to your feedback when you do come back. And I hope to meet you all perhaps this summer at one of our summer socials. Take a look at our newsletter this weekend. We got some new stuff coming up. And yeah, I'm excited for you all. Enjoy your time. Bye-bye, everyone, and have a lovely rest of the day. Bye, Joe.
Thanks, Gordon. See you, Gordon.